Coming up on Let's Get to the Point.
So right now, the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Reserve have elevated welcome offers. 168,000 points. I want to know, what would you guys do with those points?
I mean, I heard economy, and I was like, okay, wait a minute. Then I heard category 1. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't think this is believable.
With such tight constraints?
And later.
Well, it finally happened, and to everyone's much amusement, it was horrible.
Was the flight that bad?
Come on, Mitch, you're exaggerating.
I had someone hacking and coughing the entire flight behind me.
Nicole, you failed to mention before how terrible these seats are.
Yes.
It's $20.
I had no idea.
Now, let's get to the points. She loves to pretend being a crazy rich Asian. It's Serena. Sometimes his journey is the destination. It's Miguel. She takes family budget travel to another level. It's Nicole. And he only lies flat over the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. It's Mitch Shannon.
Hi there, and thank you for joining us on Let's Get to the Points video and audio podcast, where we bring you the very best in tips and tricks in the world of miles, points, and travel. I'm Mitch Shannon, joined by my co-hosts who love traveling the world with their families using their credit card, points, and miles. First up, her preferred method of travel is first, followed by business class, of course. It's Serena.
Hi, everyone.
He does a great job keeping us abreast of all the best deals going on with points and miles. It's our Miguel.
Hey, what's up?
And she's your and mine inside source for everything on Spirit Airlines, which we're going to talk about that in just a minute. It's Nicole.
Hi, guys. Howdy, as they would say on Spirit.
That's
Do
right.
they really
Howdy.
say that?
It's on the plane.
It's on the wing. Howdy. Please help us out. Click that subscribe button now to our YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you watch or listen. Also, give us a like and leave us a comment below and tell us what you think about our show. Now it's time to do it. Let's get to the points. You guys, what a week this has been. We're just coming off our big week of our 1-year anniversary. We shared our P2s with everyone. So we just wanted to say how much we really enjoyed all the comments, all the love that we got for our show last week. Our giveaway, it's finally closed. It's officially over. And we're going to announce our winners. We're going to reach out to them shortly as well. I want to thank everyone who followed, liked, and commented on show 52. Tonight is all about Chase, and there are some really big sign-up bonuses right now, aren't there, Serena?
Yes. So right now, the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Reserve have elevated welcome offers. Each of these cards has a 75,000 point bonus right now if you spend $4,000 within 3 months. The Chase Sapphire Preferred is considered a favorite travel card for beginners, and we recommend it as a card to actually hold for the long term. We love it for its travel protection benefits and the ability to transfer to partners like United Airlines, Southwest, and Hyatt. So in honor of this welcome offer, we thought it would be fun for another challenge, but not 1 million points like we did a few episodes ago. We're going to make this a little bit more realistic. We are each going to talk about how we would spend 168,000 Chase points. 168,000 points assumes 2 people in a household sign up for the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. Player 1 would get a 75,000 point bonus. Player 1 would then refer player 2 to the Sapphire Preferred card and get a 10,000 point referral bonus. Player 2 would also get the 75,000 point bonus. And then they each would get 4,000 points for the minimum spend on the card, for a total of 168,000 total points. It's important to note that if you live near a Chase branch, there is a higher offer for the Sapphire Preferred card. It is a 2-tiered offer where you would get 75,000 points after 4,000 spent in 3 months and an additional 10,000 points after spending $6,000 total in 6 months. That is a total of 85,000 points after spending $6,000 in 6 months. So there are 2 offers out there, the online offer and the in-branch offer. And at first glance, it seems like the in-branch offer seems higher, but if you consider the number of bonus points you're getting per dollar of spend, the online 75K offer with the referral is actually better. So what do you guys think about this card? Is it a have it, had it, want it, or yeah?
So I have it and I want it. I wish I could get the bonus again, but I received the bonus for the current card less than 48 months ago, so I can't reapply for it. So I'll just have to sit on the sidelines for this one.
Yeah, I have it and I have it and we love it. So I'm also in the same boat as Miguel. It hasn't been 48 months since I've gotten the bonus. So we're waiting for it to come back around again. I think I have another 24 months to go.
Have it, had it, love it. I would get it again. And it was fascinating to me because a couple weeks ago, we did our 1,000,000 point episode. And we also kind of did some stuff on Instagram saying, if you could have 1,000,000 points, which one would you want? And it was absolutely fascinating. The most overwhelming majority voted for Chase, like almost 200 some people voted for Chase on our Instagram story, which was fascinating to me out of all the people that would vote. So I guess there's a lot of value in Chase points. I think this is kind of timely that we're doing this right now.
I think it starts with the letter H. Yes. You know.
Nicole's favorite.
Just saying. Thank you.
Hyatt.
No, Hilton. She means Hilton.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
So I feel like we got another game coming on here, Serena. Another
Yes.
challenge.
Yes. So 168,000 points. I want to know, what would you guys do with those points?
I'll go for it. So I'm talking about what I would do with it now, having had it already, having accumulated some points and knowing what I know so far in the 2-3 years I've been doing this. So I love to run. Berlin Marathon's coming up and there was a sweet deal on Air France for tickets to Europe. I am going to be very much like the rest of you and I'm going to fly business class from the US to Berlin with the 50,000 points deal. Because if you're going to the marathon, you have to get there well rested in order to run those 26 miles. You know what I'm talking about, Miguel?
No. The well-rested part, yes. Not the running.
And so since the flights from the US are overnight, so I'd sleep, wake up refreshed by the time I get to Paris, and then have my layover and head to Berlin. Because I'm flush with points, why not come back in business class the same way we went? So that'll be my first 100,000 points. Now, because I spent so much on flights, I'm going to cool it a little bit on the hotel. And in Berlin, they have the Linder Hotel. It's a category 2. So it's not like Hyatt Place, but like right in between that and a Regency. It's about 9,500 points, and I would stay there for 4 nights. So 9,000, carry the 1. That's about 38,000 points. So I'm right there. Am I over, Serena? How much do I have left?
Let's see, 100,000 points for the flights. How many total points did you have for the hotels?
38,000.
We have a total of 168,000 points to spend. So that means you have 30,000 points left.
Oh, I have a lot more left. Maybe I extend it and do Miguel. Isn't there like Oktoberfest?
Yeah. When's the marathon?
It's end of September, right in time.
That's perfect time. Yep. Maybe you should head down to Munich.
So I would go to Munich and I would stay at the Andaz Munich for a night. The Andaz Munich is a beautiful hotel. We've been there before and I would absolutely love to go back and stay there. And that's about 20,000 points a night. And then I'd have a little leftover, just some cushion. Maybe I can use that in the Chase portal to book some activities at Oktoberfest or during the Berlin Marathon. What would you guys do with your 168,000 points?
Nicole, that sounds really cool. You're actually going to run in the marathon, aren't you?
I am, all 26.2 miles. Are you thinking about doing it too, Serena?
Hell no. But I like pointing out how this is like a real life example for you, right? Are you actually
Yes.
going to be flying Air France to Berlin?
I will be flying Air France to Berlin. I was originally going to be flying Virgin Atlantic, but because of the availability of the Air France business class, I decided to switch, thanks to Miguel.
Are you flying out of Miami?
I'm flying directly out of Miami.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I know. And then to Berlin. There used to be a nonstop flight to Berlin on Norse Airline, but it was only seasonal. Mitch, maybe you should try Norse Airlines next. It's like the Spirit of Europe.
Let me Google that right now.
It's going to be a little higher class since it's in Europe.
I think they have some pretty good deals. If you do like their premium economy, it looks like a pretty good seat for the deals that they have sometimes to go to Europe. I think it's a pretty good option. And I think their one-way fares are usually about half of a round trip, which is not always the case with international flights. So I think this is a good option when you don't have enough points for an international flight. You could either go or return using Norse Airways as an alternative.
I love Norse. That was how we went to Berlin the first time. It was a nonstop flight from Miami to Berlin. It was 9 hours. And I went like Spirit budget. We paid for our carry-on, and for 4 of us, round trip was $1,500. I mean, that was a sweet deal.
Total, right?
Total, yes, with the bags.
Wow, that's amazing.
That did not include food. So what we did was we brought our Tupperware to the lounge, packed it chock full of Amex goodies for the 9-hour flight.
I think that's my most memorable reel of yours. It's your Norse Airlines reel with the Tupperware. I think you're going to love it, Mitch.
Enticing it sounds.
I will tell you this, Mitch. The seats are much more comfortable than Spirit. I mean, it's not a business class seat, but I mean, there's a little cushion for the cushion.
Cushion's good.
It's important. So where would you guys go with your points? I see a Park Hyatt in Serena's future.
You'll be surprised there is not. Because we're on a budget. We've only got 168,000 Chase points to work with.
Ooh.
It's a very tight budget for me, but it's doable. So for this trip, I'm bringing my entire family of 4 because it's more fun with more people, right? I am going to assume no transfer bonuses. And to start, for flights, I will transfer Chase points to Virgin Atlantic, and I'm going to book my flight on KLM from SFO to Vienna with a layover in Amsterdam. And this one-way flight in economy will cost 15,000 miles per person. Round trip for 4 people will be a total of 120,000 points. So that leaves me with 48,000 points left. I'm going to transfer those points to Hyatt and stay at Category 1 properties. Nicole, what's that face?
I didn't say a thing.
Are you shocked?
I mean, I heard economy and I was like, okay, wait a minute. Then I heard Category 1. I'm like, wait a minute.
I didn't say this is what I would really do, but this is what I would do with these constraints.
Yeah, I don't think this is believable.
With such tight constraints, this is what I would do. I'm going to assume off-peak dates for my booking. So these hotels will only cost 3,500 points per night. Okay. But because I have 4 people and we're in Europe, I'll need 2 rooms. So I will book 4 nights at the Lindner Hotel in Vienna for a total of 28,000 Hyatt points. That's 4 nights and 2 rooms. We will then take a 1-hour train to the neighboring country of Slovakia and stay at the Lindner there in Bratislava for 2 nights and a total of 14,000 Hyatt points. So that's 1 trip, 4 people, 2 countries, 6 nights for 162,000 Chase points total, covering both flights and hotels. What do you guys think?
That sounds like a regular Haynes family vacation.
Not a Serena vacation?
No, I think we switched places.
We totally did.
Yeah.
We totally switched.
I think it's interesting you both chose the Lindner hotels because I do think that they offer pretty good value. And most of these hotels are in Germany. There's some in Austria too, and around that area. I've seen some pretty good deals, very good value, especially the one in Prague. I always see that it has a very good cent per point redemption value when you look at it that way. So yeah, I'm interested in checking some of those out.
So when I was looking at hotels, I mean, you can transfer Chase points to Hyatt. You can transfer them to IHG or to Marriott. I was looking at the IHG properties. Fewest number of points you could get per night is 5,000 to 10,000. But at 3,500 points per night with off-peak Category 1, I feel like you can't beat it.
And breakfast. So
does Lindner include breakfast for everybody?
I don't know for everybody, but I'm getting breakfast.
Even if it's not part of the policy, Nicole's going to ask for forgiveness, not permission. So she's getting.
There we go.
She's going to say, that guy over there said
That
it
gentleman
was
over
okay.
there said I could get this.
You guys are learning. I'm so proud of you. Good job. Gold star.
We do listen to you, Nicole.
That's better than the people in my house.
I love this scenario that you laid out, Serena, because we got quite a few families that listen and watch our podcast. And this is kind of a great little trip that you could do on just a couple of credit cards and just with Chase points alone that you could really do a family of 4 with and save a lot of money doing this.
That's right. I'm sorry for those with a family of 5. This This is just for 4. Tight budget here. What you got, Mitch?
Okay, so good question. After last week's disastrous P2Liwed appearance by Paulrit myself.
Wait, why was this disastrous?
We
I
lost.
last.
They were last place.
The scores. That's right.
We didn't match a lot. And then our recent flight on Spirit, I think someone's getting ready to file for divorce in this household. So my chase scenario is based just on me after I get the points in the divorce. So this is how I'm going to lay it all out.
Solo trip.
That's right. Solo trip after the fact.
You're taking all the points from him.
That's right. All chase are coming my way. This time, I'm going to try to follow the rules. I'm going to try to stay within my budget and not blow the lot. Well, I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know. So let's see. All right. So first things first, we're going to go to Australia. We do that every January, every year. And we love the Park Hyatt Sydney. So 4 nights at 40,000 points a night. Boom. Points are gone right there. So here you go.
I was like,
How are you
Pack it
getting
up.
there?
turn the lights off. We're done. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, that's it. But if you want to live a little, like I say, high on the hog, it is a very, very nice property and you can't beat the location. The rooms, they're really nice. Last year, they really treated us well and our room was perfect. We had a great view of the Sydney Opera House. The cash rates are like $1,000 to $2,000 in the US currency. So that would probably be my first option, but I want to give another option. Okay.
Please give us another option. Spirit doesn't fly to Australia.
Because we all know I'm not flying coach there. So yes, we need a second option. All right. I'm going to need to borrow some chase points from someone. Hopefully one of you guys can spare me some extra ones. I'm going to go to Singapore on Singapore Airlines and I'm going to book it via Air Canada Aeroplan for just 87,500 points each way. And that's just me, myself, because, you know, I got all the points in the divorce and, you know, that's it. I'm going to go for a few days. And what's great is Singapore and Aeroplan, they kind of have this unique, different relationship where they release award space. And sometimes you don't even see it under Singapore's Chris Flyers. So 87,500 points per person each way, 15-hour flight. Sign me up for that. I've done that flight so many times now. And if you're going to go anywhere in Southeast Asia, it's probably the best way to go that you can get there. You can bang out that long haul, get some sleep, eat. It's a nice flight to get there. If you want to go on to Southeast Asia, there's plenty of options. You know, you can add on a leg. Aeroplan lets you add a stopover for just 5,000 additional points as well. So that's how I would spend my 168-ish chase points after I borrowed some from you guys. So, you know, Southeast Asia, one of my favorite places to go. I love all those countries. Singapore, Vietnam, Thailand, just some great places to go. Get some really good value for your money as well.
So let me make this clear. Well, let me clarify.
Clarify.
What I hear you saying is we have 2 options. One, we walk to Australia and stay in a lavish hotel.
Mitch didn't get the one trip memo.
Option 2, we fly in luxury, owe some points, and sleep on the street. Okay, got it. Option C could be Spirit.
Yeah, there is no option C anymore with me. Yeah, I get it. I'm all about luxury though. I mean, I can't stay within my budget. I gotta find different ways to get there.
You could live in the hawker center.
I could.
Oh, you can go to a capsule hotel.
Yeah.
You
Like
do,
the
I get a
Miguel.
capsule hotel. Yeah.
That's
Those like
right.
$43 a night.
I can afford that.
I know you're not
Can
going
you,
to stay
though?
in one of those though, Mitch.
No, but it's a possibility if I'm just going to spend all my points on Singapore.
I see where you're going here. It's luxury or nothing.
I love these challenges where you kind of want to do everything with one set of points. But for me, for us, I always try to look at the big ticket items and try to tick those off, right? So I'll look at the flights because those flights are expensive. If you were to pay cash for those, we can afford some, you know, the lower end hotels if we wanted to do that. So if I wanted to take this path when we play these games is I look at the item where I'm going to be able to travel in comfort and then really enjoy that. And then just kind of fill in the rest in a different way with cash or some other way.
And that's the beauty of it, right? You can spend it however you see fit.
That's right. Mitch, I also love how you're using Air Canada Aeroplan points to book Singapore Airlines, because if you book that same flight on Singapore's website, it's like 125,000 points per ticket. So finding that Air Canada availability is great.
Singapore Airlines does not release this award availability pretty much to any of the other Star Alliance carriers. So it's a good option of being able to fly on Singapore if you love going to that region of the world and just being able to knock out those long distance flights like that.
But as far as borrowing chase points, I don't think that's going to happen. But I will give you another option, another idea. suggestion. So let's say you get the Chase Sapphire Reserve and you buy a Peloton with it to meet your minimum spending requirement. With the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you actually earn 10 points per dollar on that Peloton. So not only are you meeting your minimum spend requirement, but now you get a total of an additional 9 points for every dollar. So let's say it's $2,000 that you spend with Peloton. That's an extra 18,000 points. So that's another way to get a little bit more points.
And you actually did this yourself.
Yeah, I bought a refurbished Bike Plus or something. It was about $1,700. So I got 17,000 points for this purchase, which is like, a free night at a Hyatt somewhere, pretty good deal, I think.
And you get the Peloton. Let's not forget that part.
Right. You're improving your health too at the same time.
Yeah.
And you can watch podcasts on the Peloton.
But if you pay for the Peloton with a Sapphire Preferred, you're only earning 5 points per dollar. So that's the difference there. If you're planning to go that route and get a Peloton, it might be worth it to just get the Reserve because you're going to get 10x points for it.
I also think it's great that in the future, if you're staying at a Hyatt, you might be able to earn points by using the Peloton in the Hyatt properties.
Oh, that's true. There's some new collaboration with...
Yeah, I'm curious how many points. Nicole's going to get so many points from doing that.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to knock it out of the park, and they're going to probably scale it back.
I will be the one, right? They'll be like, no
All
more free
because of
points
you.
for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Miguel. So 168,000 Chase points. You got them. I am curious. What are you going to do with them?
So all three of you went international. I'm going to keep it domestic. Kind of. So I would take a trip to Hawaii. So I would transfer some points from Chase over to British Airways because with British Airways, you can book American Airlines flights and Alaska Airlines flights. From the West Coast and Phoenix, you can actually fly to Hawaii for only 16,000 British Airways avios. So this trip would be for two. So just my wife and I. Can you guys tell that I want to go on without the kids? Because again,
I can tell.
Thinking, so Phoenix is the closest airport that we could do this from for us. So we would position to Phoenix and then fly from Phoenix to one of the islands, 16,000 points per person each way. So that is 16 times 4. What is that? 64,000 points.
Math is correct.
So I'm at 104,000 left. For hotels in Hawaii, I would do Hyatt. So I would transfer Chase points to Hyatt. And most of the hotels that I'd be looking at are category 4 through 7. And the amount of nights that I could spend would vary between 4 and 8. Depending on whether I would find dates that are off-peak, standard, or peak dates. So there's a few options here. So starting with category 4, we have the Hyatt Place Waikiki. With category 5, there's the Hyatt Regency Waikiki. We have the Hyatt Centric Waikiki. With category 7, we have the Hyatt Regency Maui, which is where we stayed when we went last year, and the Grand Hyatt Kauai. And with those, you would want to find off-peak dates. You could extend your stay a little bit longer.
Based on what you're saying, Miguel, looks like I need to look into going to Hawaii. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but comparing the beach in the Caribbean to Hawaii, it's a tough sell. But the nature aspect of Hawaii, I hear, is beautiful. And to be able to go there for only 16,000 points in avios might make me reconsider.
So Hawaii hasn't been on your list, Nicole?
It's been on my list because, it's Hawaii. But I think I forgot who it was. I think it was Adventure Park. She posted this reel that was like, I know people talk about Hawaii, but the beaches in the Caribbean are better. My friend, another teacher at my school went and she was like, you're not going for the beach. You're going for the outdoor activities, the nature, the hike, all of that. So I'm like, okay. Once I shifted my perspective, I'm like, okay, I could put it back on the list.
But then again, you live in Miami, right? I live in El Paso in the desert. There's nothing here. So Hawaii is very enticing. You're like, what we want to go into that tropical destination. But you live in Miami. You're from Jamaica. Like you've seen plenty of that you live in a beautiful place. So like you said, you live where people vacation.
I think it's okay for it to be lower on the list because you're near the Caribbean. You're so close to some of the best water in the world. It's okay if you don't want to go.
Thank you, Serena. Appreciate that.
I will say, Miguel, I like your plan using your Chase points for Hyatt if you're going to go to Hawaii, especially in Honolulu, because those properties that are there, so the Hyatt Regency, the Hyatt Place, and the Hyatt Centric, they're all in Waikiki. And Waikiki is very expensive when it comes to hotels, tourist things, and stuff to do. So by using it at those Hyatts, so I would say probably the Hyatt Regency is probably in the best location there in Waikiki. What's great is is if you book on points and you're globalist, first off, you get those parking fees waived, which that's huge right there. Second, you get those resort fees waived as well. So you're saving a lot of money because Marriott and the Hiltons that are there, when you book those award stays, you still have to pay those fees, and they're pretty much everywhere when you go to Waikiki and Hawaii. So I think that's very wise that you want to use Hyatt for Hawaii just for that reason.
It's wise to use Hyatt for everyone.
Yeah, the Hyatt Regency in Waikiki is definitely the one that I would choose if I were going to go back to Waikiki. I was actually surfing on the beach. I don't surf. We were taking lessons. Okay. I was failing at it. I saw the Hyatt and I said, we're staying there next time. We have not been able to get back there, but if I were to go back to Waikiki, it would be at the Hyatt Regency for sure. And they have a club lounge too. So you could book a stay that includes a club room with access to the club lounge, or if you have status, then you'll have access to the club lounge, which includes afternoon snacks that might be able to replace dinner. So I think it goes to show that we're transferring a lot of our Chase points to Hyatt, right?
Mic drop.
Surprise, surprise.
We have a subscriber. His name is Carlos. He cringes every time we talk about Hyatt. Sorry, Carlos.
What is he? He's a Hilton fan?
He is a Hilton fan.
Hyatt, Carlos.
He's cringing so hard right now. You have no idea.
So for our next episode, I think we need to take Carlos and Nicole and we need to lock them in a room and we need to see who wins over Hilton and Hyatt. I think that's what we need to do.
We told you how we would spend our 168,000 points. I pretended to be Serena. Serena pretended to be me. We want to know, who would you pretend to be, or what would you do with your 168 points? Thank God they don't transfer to Hilton. How are you going to spend them all at Hyatt? Sorry, Carlos. Tell us in the comments what you would do with your 168,000 points. I mean, sky's the limit.
Well, the limit is 168,000.
This is true. 168 is the limit. I want to know if you're going to optimize or maximize your points. Let us know in the comments.
So if you want to check out these cards, we have the links to these cards in the show notes for you if you're interested in looking at them and taking advantage of these elevated offers.
Well, I can tell you this for sure. Even if Spirit was a transfer partner with Chase, I would never, ever, over my dead body, transfer points to Spirit.
Was the flight that bad?
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, it finally happened. And to everyone's much amusement, it was horrible.
Come on, Mitch. You're exaggerating.
You're exaggerating.
No, I'm not. But hey, who didn't expect that to not be horrible? In case you missed it, let me bring you up to speed on my Spirit flight. So several shows ago, I'd opened my big mouth and I had mentioned I could probably tolerate to fly on Spirit if it was a short haul flight, specifically from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. So, and there were some ground rules that came with this, that I had to follow. I couldn't book a seat. I had to take what they gave me. And if I happened to take a large carry-on, I had to be humiliated by paying for that at the gate if I was going to take that on the plane at full price. Let me recap it all for you because I can tell you just how excited you are to hear all about my misery about how this went down. I'm a positive person, glass half full. Let's start with the good part of the story.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
The total cost I paid out of pocket for this flight was a grand total of $40. That's round trip from Burbank's Hollywood Airport to Las Vegas. $20 each way. Now, the rest of it is pure hell. So
wait a minute. How did you book this? Did you go into the airport and book it, or like Nicole does, or did you do it online?
I know that was kind of one of the rules-ish that I was supposed to follow, but I just couldn't get to the airport. I had a lot of stuff going on, so I couldn't follow that rule, but I booked on their website. It was $20 each way from Burbank to Las Vegas. So it made it a total of $40.
And if he went to the airport, it would have been maybe $10 less each way.
They would have paid him to take the flight.
Wow.
That part.
No, they would have paid me to book the ticket. Everything else would have been extra. Let's be honest about this, how Spirit operates, all right? Because the rest of this was pure hell. So first I went straight through the gate. Burbank, it's a very small airport. I had my TSA pre-check. So, TSA, probably the hardest experience for most people. This was the most pleasant experience that I had on this entire trip. Dealing with our TSA people. I made it to the gate. And of course, there was no agents, no No one was there to be found. The gate was empty. They came about an hour before departure. They started setting up. They put up the stanchions, and would you believe it? People started lining up the second they put up the stanchions. The plane's not even here yet, and people are already lining up.
What's a stanchion, Mitch?
The ropes.
The ropes.
Ropes.
I get it
That's
now. I get it.
That's right. Well, ropes probably would have been necessary for this, because the best part of this for me, which was very entertaining to me, was when the gate agent came out and was basically yelling at people like wild animals to move and sit down. And of course, no one listened to what she was saying. They just stood there and, they were like ignoring her. And it was like the doors opening on a Black Friday sale. No one was going to move from trying to line up for this Spirit flight. So whatever.
This is gate lice, right?
Oh.
One of your pet peeves. I remember.
Gate lice 3.0 is exactly what this is. Yeah. I did get some good tips from Nicole. So, Nicole, thank you. I waited a little bit when online check-in opened. So I got really super lucky and I got assigned a window seat near the back of the plane. I had someone hacking and coughing the entire flight behind me. And, I'll play a little bit of that here to where you can hear that.
You recorded it.
Oh yeah. I swear I got sick. I swear that person made me sick. I swear it. This sounded like a really bad disease that this person
Listen,
had.
there's coughing people on international flights too, right? Remember when Serena visited the peasants in the back?
Cathay Pacific. Going to Hong Kong.
So let's talk about the seats. Maybe you can help me out with this a little bit, Nicole. The seats, they're horrible. They have
Terrible.
no padding. Terrible. No recline. And, I'm not even a tall person. And the seat back in front of me, it was right at my knees. I couldn't even get my backpack under the seat. Like there was no room in this seat at all. But I'd say the worst part of this entire experience, it was the seat itself. I don't know how anyone can do these transcom flights, or where did they go? They go somewhere down in South America. It's like 6-7 hour flight time. No recline. No padding. This has to be the worst seat I've ever sat in. Yeah.
No. The funniest thing about the seats, but I think they're upgrading them now, is back of the seats doesn't have any upholstery. So they put the upholstery on the front, and the back is just like bare metal. They're like, we're not putting any fake leather back there. No one needs it.
Is there a seat back pocket?
No, there's like a shoelace.
Well, they got smart with that. So they moved the seat back pocket up to where it's like at your eye level, to where that's where like all the literature and the cards are. So where it's not down at your knees. So it allows them to get more seats in there, and it, gives you the appearance of a little bit more knee room.
Nicole, you failed to mention before how terrible these seats are.
Yeah. Yes.
It's $20.
I had no idea.
Let me tell you how bad they were. When we went to Atlantic City, the plane was empty. Like everyone had at least 3 rows to them. And I could not, for the love of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, get comfortable laying, put my backpack, my sweater. It's terrible.
And you still want to fly them.
Wow. I do. It's $20.
So Nicole, what is your threshold number of hours you are willing to sit in a Spirit seat? 6 hours?
I don't know about, no, not 8 hours. Scratch that. The longest I've flown on Spirit was from Miami to Denver. What is that? About 5 hours?
Roughly. Yeah.
I could do that again.
There's no way.
Mitch couldn't even take half an hour.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I pay to run 26 miles. So,
Are we talking about the half hour in the air or the half hour on the ground? Because that's the second worst part of this flight. All right. So let me talk about this. So waiting for a gate on both ends of our flights. So each flight, our gate was occupied when we arrived at the airport. On the first flight from Burbank to Vegas, there was some type of mechanical with our plane that we were waiting to push back. We ended up waiting 45 minutes for our gate in Las Vegas, which was longer than the actual flight itself. And then on the return, we waited 20 minutes in Burbank for a gate. And there's like nothing that goes on in Burbank. I don't know why we had to wait 20 minutes for a gate in Burbank, because the plane was on a mechanical.
Is that a airport issue or a Spirit issue?
That's a Spirit issue, because the aircraft that was there was a Spirit aircraft, and it was on a mechanical. And that's because Spirit is cheap and they don't want to pay for any more gates. They don't want to pay for gate space. They don't want to pay for the leasing of the gate. That's a Spirit issue. I'm going to be very clear on that. Oh, Nicole, I'm ready to talk about Spirit with you. I'm qualified now.
You are qualified.
1 point, Mitch.
Nicole, I think you're losing. Nicole, Nicole.
I think so. I think so. But there's people out there that believe in Spirit. Chew, I need you. Down in the comments. I mean, come on. Spirit would never. Where my Spirit people at? I mean, they are running an entire company, so I'm not the only one. They're actually, I think, probably making a profit.
Yeah, with all the fees they add onto everything.
But to tell you the truth, with some of these fees, sometimes it still ends up being cheaper than your legacy carriers. So depending on how far, maybe a half an hour flight, an hour, maybe 5-hour flight, you're like, if I pay for the bag, pay for my seat, it's still cheaper than say, let's fly American Airlines. Cushion is not really that important, is it?
It is.
So those are some really good points, Nicole. So let me say this. Would I ever fly Spirit again? Absolutely hell no. I will not do it. However, there are a couple of things that you do bring up that actually fascinate me about the airline. So first off, this being the first time I've actually ever flown Spirit. And you just talked about this, seeing how everything is for sale. It's like coupon, bargain bin shopping. One row of seats, $5, 2 rows up, it's $7. It's like, are people that price sensitive over $2? That stuff fascinates me about Spirit.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
There's your answer.
And sometimes it's just a game. I'm like, why would I pay $2 extra to sit 1 row closer to the door? I'm good back here. And I think what happens is they've done their marketing, they've done their research, and they are not for everyone, right? For the people that want to just get from point A to point B, then this is the option for them. When it comes to price sensitivity, for you, Mitch, maybe not, but yeah, there are people out there that are considering like every dollar.
So what do they do for families? For example, if families don't reserve their seat ahead of time, will they be seated together?
Yes. So every time I book a ticket for the 4 of us, we are usually sitting 3 and then 1. It's not that long of a flight where it makes a difference to me. And knock on wood, I've always ended up getting a window seat. I mean, I could sit in the middle for 2-3 hours. Could you, Mitch?
Absolutely not. So one thing that was interesting that you did bring up, Nicole, is price sensitivity. And that is one thing that absolutely fascinated me about this as well. You know me, I'm watching the big seat up front prices. When I originally bought this ticket, the big seat up front was going for about $120. So the entire time I kind of kept my eye on it, but I'm like, I got to follow the rules. I can't buy it. Then I'm watching it exactly the night before the flight. They drop it to $60, half price off. And at that point, I'm ready to say, screw it. I'm just about ready to pay for it. Screw this challenge. Screw all this podcast stuff. I don't care. $60. Get me home in a little bit of space, right? Then I get to the airport. That same seat went to $93. So then I'm sitting there at the gate, getting ready for my misery. And then the agent makes this announcement. We've got our big seat up front on sale for $12.
Wow. What a deal.
Dollars. My head was like Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
I'll take it.
It spinned around. She said this wrong. Is it $12? Am I having a stroke? What is?
Mitch immediately became gate lice. Immediately.
That's right. And 2 people beat me out. That's how slow I was.
Oh, wow.
I get up there and I go, did you just say $12? And she's like, yeah. I go, how many you got left? And she goes, we got 3 left. So I bought it for my husband, Borit, my brother-in-law, and my mother-in-law. I bought them the last 3 seats at $12 a piece, and I let them sit up there, and I sat in the back and took my punishment, my lickings. But
Mitch, what a team player.
Isn't that fascinating though, how price sensitivity that you talk about, Nicole, it's kind of all over the map with them.
I mean, it's supply and demand. They're going to fly the plane empty, or they take $12 for a seat.
So the tip is wait till the very, very last minute for the best pricing on those comfy seats, right?
What did they say about the seats? Did they like them?
Good question. So that was what I asked as well. I'm like, because I had to hear about how bad the other seats were in the back the entire time they were on the trip. They said it had just a smidge more padding up there, but it did not recline. So there was no recline button up there as well. So no extra service, no extra stuff. So it was basically it was kind of like a domestic-ish first class seat that you would see on kind of like the traditional legacy carriers, but it didn't recline and it had just a little bit of padding on it.
Now, I remember seeing a picture, Mitch, and your mother-in-law was asleep. So she must have been slightly comfortable, or option B, which I don't I want to know what option B was.
But, this challenge, I do appreciate it. And, all joking and kidding aside, it's fascinating to me that it is possible, you can fly Spirit and not jump through any of these extra hoops and just pay the airfare that you see. Like, I proved that you can fly a round trip for $20 each way, a total of $40. That's just absolutely fascinating to me. And finally, before all this is said and done, all this crazy challenge, I just want a little bit of credit from you and everyone out there for putting the money where my mouth is, because I followed the rules and I did it. And I'm being honest. And actually, I'm glad I did it because it was a great exercise and reminder, why I'm never going to fly super low budget airlines.
It's a good reminder. Always try everything one time, just one time.
I have another idea for a challenge.
Okay. It's time to move on. Stop you right there.
So how about Frontier? Miguel, I know you know Frontier pretty well. How do you think that compares?
Pretty
to
well.
Spirit?
Why? I've flown it like twice.
You're the only one of us who has Frontier status.
No big deal. Yeah. I'm a Frontier Diamond, I think. They changed their perks around. So last time I flew them to Vegas, my status got me what they call agent assistance. So that means you can actually talk to somebody at the airport without paying to talk to them. And I used it only to cut the line to drop off my bags. We had checked bags. So there was a line to drop off the bags, but the agent assistance line there was no line. So I went there. But now they took that off. That's not part of the perks anymore. And they also changed the seating now. The first two rows, what they do is they skip the middle seat. So kind of like intro European business class. And I think they call it up front plus or something like that. So now that's not part of the elite status benefits. So luckily I am flying with them tomorrow, and I had already picked the seats before they implemented this change. So I will have for sure the middle seats blocked because I had picked an aisle and a window in the hopes that the middle one would be empty, and it will be empty because now it's the upfront plus. But for any future flights that I book with Frontier, if I want the first two rows of Frontier, I'm going to have to pay additional, even though I have their diamond status or whatever. But the seats, the way you describe Spirit, they sound just like Frontier. They don't recline. They have a shoestring for your storage. It's kind of like half metal or plastic. Yeah. The seats are pretty bad, but I mean, it was fine. From here to Vegas, I think it's like a couple hours for me. I'm fine with it.
Now, Mitch, I hear word on the street is that Frontier is worse than Spirit.
Really?
Really?
Yes. I hear the seats are more uncomfortable and the agents are more nitpicky about the backpacks that you can take onto Frontier.
I hear a challenge coming on.
Who wants Mitch on Frontier?
Yeah.
He's got to complete the trifecta. Then we got to find a third one. It's got to be like the Chase trifecta.
Okay, so enough about Spirit. You've seen enough of my misery, and I think it's time for someone else to do a challenge. So
I'll do any challenge.
You heard it here first. Put it in the comments. What challenge do you have for Miguel? All right, it's now time to move on to our weekly recap. It's now time for our weekly recap where we share our tips and tricks with you from the stuff that we've recently booked. So we had a big thing happen the past couple of weeks. Air France dumped some award availability, 50,000 points each way. Who booked what?
In business class, too.
That's right.
I was like, who am I?
You're the girl who's going to dump Spirit.
You're pushing it now. We don't have to give up one to celebrate the other. We can live together in harmony. Yeah, so a lot of availability dropped from Air France, and you can fly from the US to Paris and onwards and vice versa for 50,000 points. While it might seem like it's not something special, some of these flights, I don't know who's paying this, by the way, were like 700,000 points per seat. I just can't fathom. That's like paying $29 for a front seat in Spirit. It just doesn't make any sense. Just like in the example before with the Chase points, I was able to book from Miami to Berlin for the Berlin Marathon for 50,000 points. And I'm very excited because now I get to be there very rested, belly full. My grandfather would say belly full, bottom glad. So these deals are pretty good if you can come across one that's for the dates that you need to travel. Did anyone book anything else?
Yes. So I also booked the Air France. I'm going to be going up to Norway this summer, and I needed a flight back home. So I looked to see what was available. I was trying to find something to either LA, Phoenix, because there's a new route that fly between Paris and Phoenix, or Mexico City, Denver, Houston, something that is nonstop flight from El Paso. And I ended up finding availability flying out of Helsinki with a layover in Paris and then flying into Mexico City. Now, I also chose Mexico City because they do fly their new business class there on some of the flights that they have. They have 2 flights some of the days, and one of them, they fly the new business class. And I really wanted wanted to try that. So I booked Helsinki to Paris to Mexico City for 50,000 points in business class and I think $309. So yeah, I booked it too. I wish there was a transfer bonus. There isn't, but I'm okay with 50,000 points, especially in peak summer travel season.
Yeah, I agree with you, Miguel. The taxes and fees are a little high for me, but I got in on this deal too. And so first off, we got a couple of people that we want to thank. So number one, Spencer from Straight to the Points. We got his email and it showed the cities and the availability for this Air France deal. And just like you, Miguel, we've got a trip coming up to Europe this summer and I decided to pounce on this as well because getting to Los Angeles from Europe, it's not the most easiest thing to do. You don't see this quite often. So to get his email and to see Los Angeles on that, I'm like, we got to do it. I don't have my Flying Blue account set up. I haven't really put a lot of effort into it because we haven't been doing a lot of Europe stuff. So I wasn't quite sure what to do. And Serena's like, oh, just call and tell them to put the award on hold. Not a problem. And then, the phone call ended up being like an hour I was on hold and then I got disconnected, which was crazy. And then Nicole's like, oh no, just call this number. It was a really great team effort that I really appreciate you guys helping me out get this booked because my flight's on hold right now. I haven't been able to transfer those points yet. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do that, which account that I want to put them in and all of that. But yeah, that's my next step. But what's great though is it's a 72-hour hold. So that's 3 days. So I got a little time to sit on this and figure it out.
That's what I love about the hold. And not all airlines do it, but a couple of them do it. It also helps me to check if it's actually phantom space because sometimes you'll see an award flight and you go to transfer your points. And then when you go to book it, something happens and it says this award is no longer available. Maybe somebody booked it from under you or maybe it never existed in the first place. So having the agent put it on hold, give you like that extra sense of insurance that this is an actual seat and I will be able to book it once I transfer my points. Even if I have the points in my account, I would always ask them to put it on hold before I book it. Also, sometimes I have buyer's remorse, so that's another reason.
I'm glad this offer popped up because I had booked an American Airlines flight and I hate to use American Airline miles on American Airlines international flights because it's not worth it because you could get so much better with Japan Airlines, Qatar, or Etihad. I was able to cancel my American Airlines flight, get my American Airline miles back so I could save them for something better like Japan Airlines or Qatar.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best deals in business class, especially for families from the West Coast going to Europe for 50,000 miles per person one way, and children under 12 get a 25% off. So child tickets would be 40,000 points in business class. So this is such a great deal. And a lot of people, when this award availability dropped, were talking about summer of time availability, but I saw it for winter as well. So I focused on my winter trip. 2 months ago, I actually booked LAX to Paris because we're going to go to Paris this coming winter for our trip. When I was searching for availability, I saw it from SFO to Paris. And I thought, oh, it'd be so much better to just not have to position. So I actually called Air France last night and like Mitch ran into today, I was on hold for an hour and then they dropped me. And then I had to call back again and wait 45 minutes for someone to pick up the phone so that I can put my award ticket on hold. I've called Air France many times in the past and haven't had to wait this long before. And I think everybody's just flooding their system because of this award availability. So I have the SFO to Paris route on hold, but you know what? I don't think I'm going to keep it. I think I'm going to keep my original because it's a €70 per person fee if I want to change my award ticket. And that's $450 total for the 6 of us. And I don't think I want to pay that. It'll probably cost more for me to position down there, but I actually want to try a Hilton property in the LA area. And I originally thought, well, this is a great opportunity for me to try this out. It's the Oceana LXR in Santa Monica. Have you been there, Mitch?
No, I haven't.
It's really nice. And it's something that I've always been wanting to go to. And I thought this would be a great opportunity. They're also going to be opening an Air France lounge at LAX. And I thought, oh, this could be open by the time I go on this trip. So 2 things, the LXR property, the new Air France lounge. So I think I might keep my original booking.
And you get to see Mitch.
And I get to see Mitch too.
Yes.
Wins all around. But it's great with holds because I have 3 days to decide what I really want to do.
So Miguel, you're heading to Norway, and I don't think I remember seeing any Hyatts there. Where are you going to stay?
Yeah, there's actually not a lot of chain hotels for Hyatt, Hilton, or Marriott or IHG across Scandinavia in general. There are a few, but they're scattered. They're far and few in between. And really, you know what reigns king or Viking around there is Choice Hotels. There is so many Choice Hotels all over there. So I was excited to see this because, I have a few choice hotel points. Not only that, but there's actually a promotion right now to buy choice hotel points. It actually makes sense to buy points instead of paying for these hotel stays. So if I'm going to pay out of pocket for the hotel, I can just pay out of pocket to buy these points and book these hotels. So the average rate of the hotels that I was looking at to book were $300 to $400 a night. Of course, I'm not paying that. But by buying the points required for these hotels, they only cost between $115 to $140, $150 per night. So it is a great deal to buy choice points while they're on sale. If you're going up to Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, it was a great deal.
Yeah, I was thinking about Norway for next summer for our family trip. And so I'm really glad that you're going to go and check out these choice hotels. In preparation for my Norway trip, I am hoping to open the new city cards that are coming out soon, and also the Wells Fargo card, because each of these points transfer 1 to 2 to choice.
Yeah, that's a great deal when they transfer the 1 to 2, because I think I had 2,000 points left in my city account. So I transferred those over. So now I got an extra 4,000 choice hotel points. So I dropped down how many points I had to buy because of that. But yeah, that 1 to 2 ratio is pretty awesome.
And that property you stayed at in Napa, Miguel, that was actually a pretty nice property for choice hotels.
Yeah, that was part of the Ascend collection, which is kind of their higher tier properties. And that's one of the brands that I booked for this trip as well, because it looked like a really nice hotel. And they include free breakfast, and I don't have status with them. So Hyatt who?
Shots fired.
Wait, did you say you don't have status with choice?
I don't have status with choice. They actually offer gold status for military or former military for veterans. So I changed my profile, but that hasn't taken effect. So I think maybe I need to stay with them again after I submit that. I don't know. I'm supposed to get free gold status, but I don't have it right now. So it looks like most of us booked this Air France deal. I'm wondering if anybody else booked this. So if you booked this Air France deal, leave us a comment and let us know where you're going, because it was a pretty good deal.
Yeah, definitely let us know if you booked one of these flights, because who knows, maybe we'll all be on the same flight and then we can coordinate seats and all sit next to each other. And that would just be a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, wins and losses, I think this was a win for us this week. Nicole, what do you got?
Lots and lots of wins this week. Can I say that people are coming in hot with these wins? I mean, like, I'm scrolling through them. We have Lisa Bonito. She referred her P2 and he got approved for the card. But on the other side, she booked her first business class ticket, but then realized it was a mixed cabin. Good thing is she got to cancel and she'll look for something else. Cassie, 311, booked 2 tickets to Colombia on Mitch's favorite airline. Online, she said it was going to cost $682, but she went to the Spirit counter and it was $497. How do you feel about that, Mitch?
You go, girl. I admire you completely.
Is that for one person? It's not, right?
No, it's for her family.
Okay.
Martinis and Museums booked Virgin Voyage, the Dominican days, 115,000 points and $374.
Yeah, I really considered booking this cruise deal, but we decided to save our Virgin points to try to get back to Japan and book ANA. So we're hanging on to that hope.
I'm with you, Miguel. I got that same hope. Keep hope alive. Okay, so Vic P51. I think he got this tip from Miguel. He booked LATAM business class to Peru for his family, and he was going to book it via Alaska Miles. But Alaska wanted 15,000 additional points for a free stopover. So now he's switching to BA for 6,000 points instead. Mitch, you're going to like this one. Traveling Poor, it said. Scoring.
Oh, yay!
Oh, I'm afraid to hear what he has to say.
Scoring the big front seat for $16 before boarding versus $90 2 hours prior to the flight. Thanks, Port. Sounded like Port had fun on this trip.
Did he? Liked it.
Looks like they dynamically charged an extra $4.
I thought it was $12, Mitch. It's actually 16.
Maybe it was 16. I forgot.
By the time you swipe the card, it went up $4.
Probably. It was my mini stroke at the time, trying to understand what was going on.
It's because he had to run to the gate, all that exercise. Lauren from This Is How We Do Trips signed up for the SoFi bank account, got $250 cash back from Rakuten and $300 from SoFi. I think that is our biggest win, to open a bank account and get paid to open the bank account. Sign me up. One more. M Sato 23. She said the phone agent matched her elevated immediate offer on P2's new card, even though they wouldn't do it in the secure message. Thank you for sending us your wins and losses. We love to hear about all the trips you booked, all the bonuses you got. Keep sending them in, and we look forward to reading them here next week.
Those were some great wins and losses, Nicole. That's it for now. I want to thank all of our hosts. It's Serena.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Miguel.
Later.
And it's always good to see you too, Nicole.
No problem. See you guys next week.
And I'm Mitch Shannon. You can find out more about us at our website, letsgettothepoints.com, and we'll all see you here next Friday. Thanks for watching and listening.
Let's get to the points.com.